Good evening, baseball fans. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Second time going live today, and Juan Soto is still a Padre. Oh man, you like that rhyme? That was pretty good, wasn't it? How you doing, everyone? How you doing? Juan Soto is not a Yankee yet. We got some updates. We just got a tweet a little earlier giving us a little something. We'll dive into everything with Juan Soto that's been happening today. We'll talk a little Ohtani because it's Ohtani. We have to talk about Ohtani. We got a little something on Yamamoto. We did have a signing today. We did see Craig Kimbrell going to the Orioles. So we got a little something. We got Adam Simber going to the Angels. Eduardo Rodriguez could be nearing a decision. Dylan Cease, is he going to be sticking around with the White Sox for a little longer? Corbin Burns, his name is starting to pop up out there. How you doing, everyone? Good evening, good evening, good evening. Oh, man, 450 people to start the show. Man, oh, man, we got people going home from the winter meetings. Was this the worst winter meetings of all time? I mean, is it kind of one of those sayings, right? Was it too much of a good thing? We got Ohtani, right? Arguably the best free agent in not just baseball history, but sports history. Ohtani is amazing. We all love Shohei Ohtani, but is it too much of a good thing for free agency? The entire market's been held up because of Shohei Ohtani. And according to a little source that I have that's out there gathering info, supposedly, pretty much all the teams involved are very frustrated with the process. Can't tell you who my source is. I know you're probably thinking I'm making it up, but that's what I've been told, that the teams involved are frustrated with the process, as well as the other teams on the market that are not even in the process, right? Because it's holding up the market. Guys are choosing not to sign. Agents, of course, would rather wait until all these until the big name comes off the board, because, if they maybe sign prior, they could be possibly leaving money on the table, right? You could even say the same thing for Yamamoto, right? These are the two big fish on the market. If they sign prior to these guys, I mean, who knows what Yamamoto could end up getting. We've been seeing reports possibly $300 million. That could give even more leverage to some of these guys that are on the market. So, especially with Yamamoto, who hasn't pitched an inning in Major League Baseball at all, right? Someone like Blake Snell, well, hey, I just won a Cy Young Award. That guy hasn't even thrown an inning. I should get a little more money than that, right? And what, maybe some of the offers that he ends up getting, right? So there's a lot of leverage in play. So guys are choosing to kind of wait out the market right now, right? So unfortunately, we had a pretty terrible winter meetings at the end of the day. We had little moves, right? I mean, who would have thought the blockbuster that actually happened for this week was Alex Verdugo going to the Yankees? I mean, goodness gracious. I thought we were going to get Juan Soto today. I did predict that the Juan Soto trade was going to happen during the winter meetings. It basically did, right? But it's not official yet, right? And you can't call it official until the fat lady sinks. Right? So we're not there yet. We'll break that down. We got a lot of things to talk about tonight. All right, we got Juan Soto, we got Ohtani, right? We got possibly the decision coming soon. And even the Angels. Speaking of Ohtani, it looks like the Angels are pretty active out there. So Angels fans, if you are here with me, we got some maybe some good news for you guys. We'll touch on Yamamoto as well. Eduardo Rodriguez could be down to a couple of teams. Corbin Burns, could he be on the move somewhere? We did talk about a lot of this stuff earlier today. I mean, we were here for like 3.5 hours earlier, and my goodness, we had nothing happen. We also had the Rule 5 draft today, right? So I got some players there that did get picked up. I'll touch on some of those players and, maybe some guys that could end up being steals for, some of these teams that ended up getting selected. Hey, speaking of the Yankees, right? They had a few pictures get taken from the Rule 5 draft. Remember Garrett Whitlock? Just saying, could that happen again? And, yeah. All right. Let's dive into it, everyone. I do have an announcement in a little bit. In a little bit, I will go over an announcement for the channel, so make sure you stick around. I mean, it's nothing, mind-boggling, nothing crazy, but, it's a pretty decent announcement, so make sure you stick around for it. And I'm seeing quite a few people in here. Let's get to it here. Let's get to it. Everyone, like goal for tonight is 300. I put a poll up in the chat. Can we get to 300 likes? I think we can. Hit that like button for me. Hit the bell notification. That way you know I go live every single time. Share the show. Subscribe if you are new. We got a lot of new subscribers earlier today from that stream. Thank you to all the new subscribers. And one more thing. Everyone, thank you for all of the support from the stream earlier today. We got a lot of super chats. Like I said, a lot of new subscribers. So do appreciate all of the support from earlier today. So everyone, let's get to it here. Let's not waste any more time. Let's dive right in to the whole Juan Soto saga, right? And again, it looks like a deal is going to be done. It's pretty much inevitable. I would be shocked if this doesn't happen. I think it's going to happen. I don't think we need to worry. So let's just, calm it down a little bit if you're thinking, oh no, this trade's not going to happen, right? It's probably going to happen. So here were the big updates that we kind of got throughout the day. Let's start off kind of how this whole thing started from this morning, right? Jack Curry, 9:30 this morning. Now, I was at the gym. I was banging and clanging this morning, just trying not to break while I was lifting some weights. And I got this pop up on my phone, and I'm like, oh, man, okay, I got to get home. I got to start getting the stream ready just in case something goes down. But he said this morning at 9:30, as we reported on Hot Stove last night, the Yankees intensified efforts to acquire Soto. Those talks have continued, and a trade is likely. Keep an eye on King and Thorpe. Padres need pictures, and those two could headline a trade. Yankees will part with 4 or 5 players. So I'm going to kind of go through all of the important tweets that we got today. So Jack Curry, once again, he went on the Yes Network at around 2 o'clock Eastern time, said they were very, very close to completing the deal. We had a lot of tweets today. It was getting a little obnoxious, right? We had so many tweets today basically saying the same thing. It was almost like all of these beat reporters out there, like Heyman, Nightingale. I mean, I'll at least give Nightingale some kind of credit. At least he was saying something different, right? Saying, oh, no, it's probably not going to happen until maybe this week. So actually, maybe Nightingale was maybe kind of right a little bit. I don't know, because it hasn't happened yet. But either way, you had him. You had all these guys coming out here on X-Land just trying to drop their slam dunks. And it's like, guys, you're literally repeating the same thing. Take the Jeff Passan approach. Don't say anything, right? It was just, it was just getting a little annoying at one point. But John Heyman, he provided a pretty good update at 3:37 Eastern time. Only medicals and minor details to go on Juan Soto trade talks with the Padres and Yankees. The principals are telling folks they expect the deal done fairly soon. Once done, the Yankees will also get Trent Grisham in the deal, which my first reaction to that, I thought that was a little weird considering they just got Verdugo, and now you're going to have quite a lot of outfielders, right? Especially if you get Soto, you got Judge, you got Verdugo, right? Don't forget Dominguez at some point will come back. But remember with Dominguez, he just had a surgery, right? So, you don't have to rush him back. He can come back later on in the season. So that will work itself out. What happens with Everson Pereira? You got a lot of outfielders right now, especially if you're getting Trent Grisham too, and along with Verdugo, who came over last night. I'll get to that in just a little bit with why I do think Trent Grisham could be a pretty good piece for the Yankees, and as well as Verdugo. So I'll talk about that in a little bit. But that was another detail here. So Brian Hoke, he came out 6:31 Eastern Standard Time tonight. The delay on the Juan Soto trade is coming from San Diego's side as they review medicals information. Stay tuned. So remember, Michael King fractured his elbow in 2022. So that's the big thing for me that came to mind. When I saw this, I'm thinking, all right, they're probably really looking at that elbow, right? It wasn't, Tommy John, anything like that. It was an elbow fracture. So, you kind of got to, be on the side of the Padres there, really reviewing that. That's an elbow fracture. That's pretty serious if you ask me. And then, Drew Thorpe, at the end of this past season, he did go on the IL to end his season a little bit early at the beginning of September. He had something going on with his non-throwing shoulder. So luckily not his actual throwing shoulder, but that's something they're reviewing as well. But my guess is they're really looking at Michael King. That's my guess, personally. When it comes to, some of the other guys in the deal that have been possibly mentioned have been mentioned as possibilities were Randy Vasquez, Brito. Not really too much to look into with those guys. Not really any major injury concerns have popped up with them. So again, my guess is Michael King, unless maybe there's something else we don't know about, when it comes to Drew Thorpe or something like that. So Andy Martino, he also said something around that time. The proposed Soto-Yankees trade has not yet advanced to the point where teams have told each other they have a deal and no players have been informed that they are on the move. And then Bob Nightingale, a little earlier at around 8 o'clock, the Padres are at a professional baseball scouts dinner. So it'll be hours or perhaps tomorrow until a Soto deal is finalized. I'm like, oh, my God, I get it. It's not all about just the trades and the signings. I know you got some people probably being honored at this thing, getting some, rewards, probably having a nice, filet mignon dinner, whatever the heck they're serving there at that hotel. But oh my God, it's like, we don't care about the scouts dinner. We don't, they do, but good grief. Something please happen. But this is what we just got not too long ago, right before I went live, right? So about 27 minutes ago. Andy Martino, I'm hearing cautious optimism that issues can be worked out and Juan Soto to the Yankees will proceed. A lot of work has gone into this from both sides. It was supposed to get done many hours ago, but it does not sound dead. I think Andy Martino's kind of stretching this a little bit, in my opinion. Martino, this is a guy, first off, Martino, if you're listening to this for some reason, can you please slow down on the tweets? You're going to get your clicks, my friend. You're going to get your likes, your views, your retweets, your quotes. Can you just please calm it down on the freaking tweets? My goodness. Check for the grammatical errors. My goodness. Sometimes he's just all over the place with his tweets. Anyway, I digress. But with Martino, I don't know. I just feel like he's maybe making this sound a little bit more dramatic than it is, like cautious optimism. It does not sound dead. I don't know. This to me, it's like kind of making it sound more than what it actually is. That's just my personal opinion. I get it. Martino's got a job to do. He's got to get his clicks. I get it. Personally, I think this sounds a little more dramatic than it needs to be. That's just me. What I just think they're just looking at the medicals, man. It's 9:40 on the East Coast. I get it. Maybe on the West Coast. It's still it's not even 7 o'clock on the East Coast, or on the West Coast, sorry. So, those guys they're just looking at stuff and whatnot, whatever. So, I do think it's very possible we could hear something in the next couple of hours, right? We've seen Yankee deals in the past. I know this is a little different, but go back to the Josh Donaldson trade not too long ago. I feel like that happened pretty late, if I can remember. I feel like we were streaming already when that happened. And wasn't it like around 10 o'clock at night or something like that? I can't fully remember. I don't know. Anyway, so don't be surprised if we do end up seeing something a little late. So overall, when it comes to the trade, now I've been thinking about the trade with the names that we've been seeing. So on Baseball Trade Values, I got it pulled up. Everyone, don't forget, we got a little deal going on with Baseball Trade Values right now. They have subscriptions at the moment, 10% off the yearly subscriptions. Go to the link in the description below. Use the code HIDE. You get 10% off for a yearly membership. Give yourself a Christmas gift. But here is the trade laid out for you. Juan Soto, Trent Grisham. You're looking at around median value, $34 million, right? Remember, Grisham, he's got some control there. He's not going to be a free agent for a couple more seasons. Grisham is a guy, he has shown some pretty decent numbers in the past. He's been generally very good in the field. Not as good this past year out in the field than he was the year prior. He's pretty up and down when it comes to his defense out there. But this past year, the batting average was horrendous. WRC plus the last couple of years, horrendous. I will say, though, we have noticed this with the Yankees in the past. It seems like whenever they get good players, something tends to mess up with these guys, like Joey Gallo, Donaldson are perfect examples. But when they get these guys that aren't really doing so hot, they tend to get them back on track. Have you noticed that? Like Matt Carpenter is a good example for that. So, could they maybe figure out something with Trent Grisham when it comes to the offense, right? He still was hitting for, not a lot of power, but, a little pop, right? He's got the lefty bat, Yankee Stadium. Maybe that can end up being a pretty good fit for Trent Grisham, right? So, looking at the Padres side of things, right? You're looking at Michael King. Median value, $33 million. It could go as low as $25, right? So to keep that in mind. Drew Thorpe, you're looking at around $11 million for the median value. Randy Vasquez, $6 million. Johnny Brito, $5 million. And Kyle Higashioka looking at around $2 million. So when you try to approve this on the simulator, it is rejected. But I want you to keep one thing in mind. And I actually did talk about this a little earlier on this afternoon's stream while we were watching for the trade to happen. Remember, my personal thing is I think Juan Soto, once this happens, I think Juan Soto is going to end up being a Yankee for the rest of his career. That's my own personal prediction. It just makes a lot of sense for Juan Soto, who I think is going to go down as one of the best players of all time. It just makes sense to put this guy in pinstripes. It just fits, right? You look at these guys in the past. I'm not saying he's going to be Babe Ruth, right? But I think Juan Soto is on that track, right, to go down as one of these all-timers. Looking at guys like Mickey Mantle, Roger Maris, Derek Jeter, like these all-time legends, right? I'm not saying Derek Jeter is in that echelon, but still, you know what I mean? Babe Ruth, looking at all these legends that have come through Yankee land over the years. I think Juan Soto, he fits that mold to me. It's just a feel kind of a thing, right? And the bat is just perfect at Yankee Stadium. He's just a perfect Yankee to me. And this is coming from a Red Sox fan, right? If you want to hear a Red Sox fan's opinion on this, someone that's on the other side of the rivalry, he's a perfect New York Yankee. I mean, anyone that argues that, I don't know. Sure, yeah, maybe he can go to some other teams if he hits free agency. I think in the end, once he goes to the Yankees, I think at some point, even if he does get to free agency, I think if the year goes well, has a good season, the Yankees are winning, I just think he ends up signing there long term, right? So to me, I think Juan Soto is a Yankee for life. But if he does end up not re-signing with the Yankees and then he signs with another team in the offseason, you got to remember the Yankees also, it's not, the most earth-shattering thing out there, but they would get a draft pick for compensation, and that does have some value. So in today's stream, I was kind of talking about it, and I had someone in the chat. I can't remember the name. I'm sorry. I'm forgetting who you are, but you actually were correct. I'm going to give you. I'm gonna pay your dues right there, right? Because I had someone in the chat say something different from what I thought, and he was absolutely right. I was thinking that a compensation pick, if you offer someone the qualifying offer, it's, probably going to be worth, and that draft pick is probably going to be worth maybe around like 8 to 10 million. And I was a little wrong. I actually checked with John Bitzer of Baseball Trade Values, and I asked him, like, hey, what are usually the average values of those compensation draft picks that you get in return if someone turns down the qualifying offer? And he told me, right around maybe 3 to 4 million. So whoever that person was, you were correct. You were correct. So, but so let's just imagine here the Yankees, because they're also getting that opportunity to receive a draft compensation pick, right? So let's just say I put in $3 million, right, and I send it over to the Yankees, we're just imagining that this is the draft pick that they also would be receiving, right, if Juan Soto does end up leaving. And when you validate the trade on baseball trade values, it ends up getting approved as a major overpay. So I'm wondering if that's what the Yankees are also thinking here, where like, yeah, they are getting or they're losing a lot, right? I know it's Juan Soto, but you are losing a lot for essentially 1 year of Juan Soto and 2 years of Trent Grisham, who's been horrible with the bat the last couple of years, right? So, Grisham, his value, sure, it could go up if they get him back on track. But right now, at this point in time, you're looking at the Padres getting, around a $20 million surplus in this kind of a trade, not based off of players, right? Juan Soto is clearly a better player than anyone the Padres are getting. Just looking at the value of not the player, but the entire package, right? Years of control, salary, everything, right? So Michael King, he has good value right now, and he's someone that's going to step into that Padres rotation, and I think he's going to do a really good job. They literally just had the example of what Michael King is trying to be. Seth Lugo. Seth Lugo was a reliever, became a starter, ended up doing really well. Seth Lugo doesn't seem like he's going back to the Padres. So the Padres, who are trying to cut payroll, right? Michael King would be a cheaper option than Seth Lugo. So they're basically replacing Lugo with King, right? And that's going to give them, a pretty decent 1, 2, 3 with, Musgrove, hopefully a healthy Darvish, as well as Michael King. And then maybe go add some cheaper pieces in free agency, maybe even some trades, who knows? And this is how the Padres are going to attack this, right? They're looking to cut costs, right? But they're also getting a lot else. Drew Thorpe. This is a guy who was really good last year in the minor leagues for the Yankees. This would be a really nice pickup for the Padres. And then you're getting a couple of, younger guys like Vasquez and Brito. And, you're getting a guy in Higashioka. He's not going to set the world on fire, but he's a good guy to have on your team, a good clubhouse guy, tends to do well with the pictures. He did well with Garrett Cole. So overall, I think for the Padres, and I think one thing, maybe I'm wrong, but I personally think, at least I would be thinking this. Maybe there's some Red Sox bias there. Oh! We got a little something. Eduardo Rodriguez. Diamondbacks. Could that be heating up? Oh, man. Eduardo Rodriguez, we just got something from John Morosi. Eduardo Rodriguez could be nearing a decision, and he says the Diamondbacks are making progress. I like that. I like that move. I love that move for the Diamondbacks. And that kind of fits into what I think when it comes to them spending money. They tend not to break the bank so much. But that, to me, is a really good signing for the Diamondbacks. I really like that. We'll get to that in just a little bit. Let's finish up with Juan Soto. But in the end, the Padres, I think they're looking at the Mookie Betts trade from a couple of years ago. Didn't work out with the Red Sox, right? I mean, the Red Sox at the time, they just tried to get what they could, and they ended up with Verdugo, Connor Wong, right? You got Jeter Downs in there. So the Padres, I think, are just trying to get as much out of this as they can, and good on them, right? If this ends up being the deal, if this ends up being the trade, I think this is really good for the Padres. It stinks losing Juan Soto. He's an all-timer. But if he's not going to end up re-signing with you, you need to cut costs. This is a really good package for the Padres, in my opinion. It's not Juan Soto, but when you got to play with what's dealt to you, I think this is probably the best way they could do this, right? So we'll have to wait and see. Could something end up happening? I don't know. We got almost 900 people in this chat, and I do, honestly, I feel like we're at a pretty good spot right now. We're right around 900 people. Let's get this announcement out of the way. Everyone, we have been, we've had quite a few sponsors on this channel. We've had, actually quite a few, and but we have a new sponsor that is going to be supporting this channel. We have made some new friends, and I am pretty excited to announce that we are now going to be sponsored by Hold on for a second. Let's get the drum roll going. 1 second. Let's get this going here. And 1 second. Let me make sure this is good to go. Here we go. All right. Everything's good to go. But we are now sponsored here proudly. Hold on. We're almost there. Let me just get this all going here. We are now sponsored, everyone, by BetUS. Very happy to announce this. They are going to be awesome supporters of this channel moving forward, and I couldn't be happier. BetUS, man, easily the biggest spot out there to really make some bets, to really try and win yourself some cash, right? Sports betting, it's definitely something that has really grown over the last couple of years. And BetUS, honestly, you know, there's definitely a lot of places to play, you know, whether it comes to fantasy sports or wherever you like to do your sports betting. I think everyone can say BetUS is definitely one of the top out there, at least one of the top, if not the top, right? So when it comes to BetUS, there's a whole ton of different ways that you can play here. Obviously, football right now, that's the big one. You got a lot of basketball going on, hockey as well, and even with baseball, right? Even if we go over to baseball right here, even though there is not a whole lot going on with baseball right now, obviously with the playing, you can actually, funny enough, you can actually still go make some bets with games right now with baseball. You can even go maybe make some bets with the Mexico League, right? That's pretty cool if you ask me. But let's take a look at Shohei Ohtani, right? So they got some specials going on for Shohei Ohtani, even got something going on for Yamamoto, and they got all the odds. They got the money lines here for you. And if we go take a look here, right now the Dodgers at negative 200. They are easily the favorites. I mean, that's been that way for a while, if he does not go back to the Angels. But they are the favorites for him right now. Coming up after him, the Blue Jays are listed at plus 150 right now. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. When it comes to the Giants, they're coming up next at plus 500. You got the Cubs at 500 as well. And they're actually putting the Angels here in third when it comes to the odds, right? So the Angels are at plus 300. So there's a whole bunch of different ways to play on BetUS, even if it's not games, but definitely football. That's the big one right now. You got a lot of games coming up this week. They got some stuff going. They got some specials going on as well. So make sure you keep an eye on that. Even boxing as well. So go check it out. BetUS, new proud sponsor of the channel. I couldn't be happier to be working with these guys. The link is in the description down below. You get a 125% bonus when you sign up clicking on the link down below. So everyone, go check that out. Let's get back to the news here. And speaking of Ohtani, right? We just talked about the Ohtani odds. Let's get to that, shall we? So I think we're all pretty exhausted from all of the Juan Soto talk today. I think we're just ready for just something to happen at this point. But actually, really quick, let me actually, before I actually go to Ohtani, let me actually just show you all the tweet that Morosi just put out. And here we go. So just getting an update. We just got this from Morosi. Eduardo Rodriguez and the Diamondbacks have had advanced discussions about a multi-year contract. A deal is not finalized, but the NL champions are among the finalists to sign him. All right. I've been wondering, who could possibly be some finalists. I'm wondering if maybe my Red Sox are maybe talking to him. I don't know. We haven't heard too much. I wonder if there could be something there. Could you maybe see the Braves possibly? Maybe the Phillies. We haven't heard a whole lot about the Phillies, right? We maybe got something about Jock Peterson today. Bryce Harper looking for an extension, which is weird because that guy feels like he's signed for like the next 20 years there. Maybe the Mets. They've been connected with Eduardo Rodriguez. But honestly, now that I'm seeing the Diamondbacks involved with this, I personally think that Eduardo Rodriguez definitely really makes some sense, right? We got something from Dan Clark. The Heat, the Padres are copping from the impatient Yankees fans simply because they're doing. Yeah, okay, never mind. Sorry, I thought we got some news. But, hey, keep an eye out for this. John Morosi, we had been seeing some reports that Eduardo Rodriguez was down to 2 teams. Are the Diamondbacks, or it looks like the Diamondbacks are one of those 2 teams. So we'll keep an eye out for this. But let's get to Ohtani here. Let's get to Ohtani. That was going to be our next story. I just wanted to talk about that real quick just because that came up, right? And one more thing before I actually do get to this. I forgot to mention when it comes to the Yankees, actually, really quick, I really wanted to talk about this just for a second, right? One thing that I think Grisham and Verdugo are going to bring for the Yankees is the defense, right? And if we go to the numbers from last year, the Yankees were second worst with defensive runs saved last year, negative 26 defensive runs saved in their outfield last year. So Grisham and Verdugo, that is definitely going to improve the Yankees. So anyway, just wanted to throw that out there. Forgot to mention that. But let's get to Ohtani here. We did talk about this in today's stream. Did mention this. And so I guess this isn't really news, right? Since we've already talked about it. But if you are just coming in for the first time today, Ohtani is expected to make a decision by Sunday. Ooh, the decision, part 2. Part 1 was LeBron James. Well, I guess actually was when he went back to Cleveland. Was that also the decision? No, I don't think so. Was that really hyped up like that? I don't think so. But the Heat, when he went to the Heat, that was the decision. And Ohtani's decision is expected by Sunday. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm just saying, I got some plans on Saturday. Ohtani, if you're watching this for some particular reason with your dog that no one knows the name of your dog, can you please not sign Saturday night? I got plans, man. I'm trying to live my life. I don't want to be the prisoner of Shohei Ohtani's free agency, but I got a show to run here, and that's huge news. Please don't sign Saturday night. Don't do it, please. Can you just do it Friday? That would be perfect. Do it tomorrow. That'd be great. Let's do it Friday. I think Friday would be good. I think we can all agree. Friday would be a good day for Ohtani. We can all enjoy our weekend. We don't got to be thinking about anything with Ohtani anymore. We can just move on, enjoy our weekends, right? And I see you in the chat, Wolfpack 1977. Do it now. Ohtani, we are here. It is 10 p.m. on the East Coast. We got almost 900 people in this chat. Let's do it right now, right here. Let's do it. I'm ready. Ohtani, where you at? Anyway, expected by Sunday. We've been seeing a lot of different reports about this, right? We've been seeing even next week. I just think, honestly, and remember, I'll reiterate what I said earlier in the show. My guy that I have been talking with, who's got he's got some scoops out there. I'm not going to reveal who it is just to protect him, but he is saying that multiple front offices are very frustrated by this entire process. Not just the teams that are involved, right, but also the teams that are not involved, right, because they want the market to start moving. So, yeah, I'd be frustrated too. Right, Craig Breslow, he talked with people today saying, they were really looking to add a bat. They were looking to add some starting pitching. And people were like getting on to Craig Breslow on X-Land. And I'm thinking, what did he want Breslow to do? What can he do? I mean, goodness gracious. Like, people think it's like MLB The Show. So many people, I don't say people in general, but some people out there think it's so easy, like you're just playing MLB The Show and you can just go at a guy. I even saw Red Sox stats putting something out there, like kind of poking at him a little bit. It's like, what do you want the man to do? Like, even not just Breslow, any of these, general managers, president of baseball operations, like they're stuck here. You can't really do anything until Ohtani comes off the board. It's called leverage. It's called guys looking for more money, holding out for more money. It's like, what do you want to do here? I don't know, man. It's people. They think it's a video game. It's actual, it's kind of, real life stuff that's going on that you have just no idea. Who knows what is actually going on behind the scenes? I'm just saying. But also, I see some super chats coming in. Thank you for those. I will get to those in just a second. So let's keep an eye out for Ohtani. Again, we were looking at the lines, when it came to BetUS. Right now, the betting odds favorites are the Dodgers, with the Blue Jays coming up next at plus 150. The Dodgers are at negative 200 right now. Blue Jays are at plus 150. You got the Angels at plus 300. And then you got the Giants and the Cubs at plus 500. So I'm honestly a little worried about the Blue Jays, everyone. A little worried. Man. I wonder. They've been picking up steam. I think the Dave Roberts thing is a little overblown. It was kind of funny to react to, right? It was pretty hilarious, but I don't know, man. Because it's like, I mean, honestly, was Dave Roberts wrong? It's like, it's going to come out anyway. It's like ridiculous. Just talk about it. I don't know. But then again, I understand, like, it's free agents, right? You maybe you shouldn't be really talking about certain free agents, but it's like, I mean, come on. Like, everyone already knows. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I'm worried about the Blue Jays. The Dodgers, you have to still consider the favorite, in my opinion. But man, the Blue Jays scare me a little bit. Is that just because of the AL East bias? I would hate Ohtani to be in this division. Please do not put Ohtani in this division. For crying out loud, I would hate that. So let's see what ends up happening with Shohei Ohtani. We're expected something by Sunday. Who knows when that is actually going to be? Is that Sunday? Is that Saturday? I don't know. Let's get to some Super Chats here. We've had a lot of Super Chats coming in. I want to thank you all for stopping by. Also, where are we at with the like goal? We got to 300 likes. We're going to update the like goal, everyone. I mean, we got almost 900 people in this chat. I don't see why we can't get 500 people to like the show for today. Why not? Can we get to 500 likes? I don't see why we couldn't. All right, here we go. New poll has started, everyone. Here we go. We got some Super Chats coming in. Let me get to these. What do we got here? We got 3 Super Chats. Connor Gray, $1.99. The Cardinals need to get an ace ASAP. Hey, Dylan Cease. We'll get to him in a little bit. That's someone people have speculated. Could that be the guy? Could they still be in it for Yamamoto? I feel like we haven't heard really too much with that connection. I don't know. I wonder what the Cardinals' plan is. I think it would definitely go a long way if they could add something else to that rotation, but I could see them going into the year next year with the rotation they have. But it feels like they could use something else, right? If they really want to be considered championship contenders, in my opinion. Conman752, how you doing, my friend? $5 super chat. No idea if you talked about it yet, but it's a bit sad when possibly the biggest signing deal of the winter meetings is the Orioles getting Kimbrel. This is what I'm saying. It's honestly, these winter meetings were hot garbage. It was awful. I mean, goodness. I'll be honest with you. In the beginning of the week, I saw all these pictures, even from other content creators. I'm like seeing all these videos. I'm like, man, I'm jealous. I really want to be there. Everyone looked like they were having a dandy of a time those first couple of hours, right? All of the excitement was in the air. Energy was in the air. And then it just died. And then I thought to myself as the week went on, I'm like, kind of glad I didn't go. Kind of glad. All right. And let's see. Ohtani really held up the market. A lot of people were thinking Ohtani could sign this week at the meetings. Ended up not happening. So to me, I think the winter meetings, maybe just waiting until next year, I think that could be probably even better, right? Definitely better than what we got for this year. So I don't know. I was really jealous in the beginning. Now I'm not. But could you imagine Kimbrel? That's the big one. I would say, honestly, Verdugo is probably the biggest move. KC Card Connection, how you doing, my friend? How you doing? I'll text Ohtani real quick and get him here. Please. Are you friends with Ohtani? Can you please call the man? Honestly. Could you imagine? Hey, get Ohtani on the show, man. Could you imagine somehow, some way, like one of these YouTube channels out there was somehow able to get Ohtani to announce on their channel? What that would do for a channel, right? Could you imagine Ohtani just walks into my apartment right here and I just have him sit down and he's right here in front of all of you? How many people would we have in that stream? That'd be crazy. Let's actually think about that. I wonder how many people would come into a stream if Ohtani sat right here and just announced it to my camera. I think that'd be hilarious. How many people would that get to? Could that get to 1 million people? I don't know, man. I'm just saying. Anyway, please tell Ohtani to hurry up. Brett TKB, $4.99 super chat. Thank you for that. I don't see anything, any question or anything. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Yeah, so Brett, thank you. I appreciate the support, my friend. Appreciate the support. So let's move on here. We got a few other things to talk about. We were going to talk about Eduardo Rodriguez, but since something already came up with that, let's move on here. Let's go to a smooth transition. We got some Angels news. And the Angels are looking for some starting pitching, according to the reports. All right, and here we go. This was by Fabian Ardaya and Sam Blum of The Athletic not too long ago. The Angels are active in the trade market for a frontline starter, even amid the Ohtani pursuit. Alek Manoah listed right there. Could we maybe see something there? My goodness. But getting to the article here, the club has aggressively been scanning the trade market for starting pitching and has engaged the Blue Jays on Alek Manoah, league sources with knowledge of the situation. Those discussions didn't generate any traction. Blue Jays general manager Ross Atkins said that the club was not planning to move any of its starters despite receiving interest. They see Manoah as definitely part of our plans going forward. But the article goes on. The Angels have scanned and engaged in discussions on multiple fronts over a wide variety of starting pitchers, according to a person with knowledge of the situation. That has included targets such as Shane Bieber, Corbin Burns, and Tyler Glasnow. So, hey, man, look at the Angels. I think the Angels, honestly, they need to do something about this pitching. All right, so let's pull up the Angels pitching staff. They did not do very well when it came to their pitching last year. And we'll actually we'll look at some possible trade candidates from the Angels. So let's go take a look, and let's see where they ranked in terms of their pitching last year. Starting pitching, exactly. So for the starting pitching, taking a look here. Oh, also, one more thing, everyone. I have to do something here. I completely forgot to do this. One second. Oh, whoops. Hold on. That's not the right button. One second, everyone. I completely forgot to do this. Hold on. There we go. All right. Okay, we are good to go. Everyone, don't forget, we are proudly sponsored here by BetUS. And we are good to go. Okay. All right. So getting to where the Angels ranked last year with the starting pitching. All right. They were pretty middle of the road when it came to their starters last year. 15th overall in Fangraph WAR. Had a 4.47 ERA, a 4.52 FIP. So, yeah, they definitely need a little something when it comes to the rotation. But keep in mind, that also included Ohtani. All right. So if we're looking at some of these guys from last year, besides Ohtani, right? Detmers, he was okay. But the one thing I like about Detmers is he has really good strikeout numbers, 10 strikeouts per 9. Sandoval, I think Sandoval's fine as like a 3 or a 4 in your rotation. Griffin Canning, he was decent last year. Tyler Anderson was kind of a bust of a signing. They definitely need to bump this up a little bit. They did bring in Giolito, and he was absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible for them. So, not surprised to see the Angels looking at adding some guys, right? Especially if they're going to lose Ohtani, they got to go get some guys. So, and they have been connected with Blake Snell. Honestly, I think that's such a good fit for them. Honestly, throw some money at Blake Snell, and that's going to be your new ace of the rotation. So, I think if you had a rotation of Snell, Detmers, Canning, Sandoval, I think that's pretty good. Maybe go add another one of these guys out there. Could you go land possibly Corbin Burns? Could you maybe go work something out for Tyler Glasnow? I'm just saying. So, hold on one second. Just making sure. My phone, anytime it buzzes, I'm always wondering if something is happening. Always wondering. So, looking over here, right, I definitely think they could add something here. And if we look at some possible trade candidates, and if we're looking at prospects, right, Nolan Shanwell, he's the number one guy right now. You got some guys that are further away, like Caden Dana, Nelson Rada, Alberto Rios. You know, Kyron Paris is a possible guy that you can include. But let's kind of put, I don't know, I'll say Tyler Glasnow for the Angels. Let's put that together. So let's go Tyler Glasnow on the Angels. And Glasnow, we've looked at his trade value now for a few shows this past week, but one more time. Looking at around $13 million for Tyler Glasnow. And for the Angels, all right, looking at some of these guys that have some pretty good trade value. So I don't think Nolan Shanwell is going anywhere. That's going to be their guy. You know, we did look at, you know, someone like Nelson Rada, right? He's got a pretty decent value, but he's very far away, though, right? Caden Dana, that's a guy that's far away. Could you include someone like him? You know, we looked at Kyron Paris. Could that be a guy? Right now with Kyron Paris, he's not projected to be with the Angels right now for 2024. So maybe that could be a piece that they could throw back in, right? That could be a pretty good asset to add. When it comes to some major league ready guys, I don't know, like you got some guys like Shea Silseth, but once you start kind of going up a little further, I just think that's going to be too much value to give up for Tyler Glasnow. So maybe you could do a situation with like Nelson Rada, you can do Kyron Paris, and maybe you could do someone like a Jose Soriano, right? Jose Soriano, 24 years old. I believe, I don't think he is considered a prospect anymore. Let's go back to 2022. Only 24 years old. Where is Jose Soriano? I am not seeing Soriano anywhere. So Jose Soriano on Fangraphs, he is the number 5 prospect. Or sorry, the number 4 prospect as of right now. If we look at his numbers from last year, again, only 25 years old. Bit of a lankier frame, 6'3", 168. Yeah, so I was about to say I don't think he was a prospect anymore, but he is a reliever. So I don't know if that would really intrigue the Rays, but I mean, well, actually, no. Think about it. With the Rays, you know, they've had success with, you know, throwing some guys in the bullpen. He's got a big fastball, got a big curveball, right? So, you know, hey, maybe that could be a piece. I don't know. He has value, right? He did pretty well last year. Could you maybe do someone like him? Could you maybe do like a, you know, Jose Suarez possibly? You know, if we're looking at Jose Suarez, he was pretty terrible last year. 33 innings, ERA in the 8s. So maybe, I don't know, probably not. But if I did maybe something like this, I don't know, Rada, Paris, and Soriano, I could see Angels fans being like, I don't know about that. But who knows? The Angels, I think I would rather give up the prospects for someone that's going to be a little bit more durable. Corbin Burns could make some sense. If you did a trade with Corbin Burns, with the Brewers for Corbin Burns, that could be pretty nice. Remember, Corbin Burns is a California guy. So, let's see. With the Brewers, Corbin Burns, you're looking at around a $30 million value. We're actually right around 34 for the median. So, could the Angels possibly get something done for Corbin Burns? You know, could you maybe include, you know, could you send back one of these starters? The Angels do have a lot of starting pitching when you're looking at the rotation, right? Detmers, Canning, Sandoval, Anderson, Silseth, right? I mean, you got Suarez. So maybe you could just send something back for the Brewers that they can put into their rotation, like maybe a cost-controlled guy. Maybe you could send back someone like Griffin Canning, right? Maybe send him back, or maybe Silseth, right? Maybe someone like that. And you can kind of just plug in some more pieces. You can do Rada. You can do Paris. They do like their middle infielders there in Milwaukee. You know, maybe throw in a younger guy like a Caden Dana. And maybe you're on the right track here. Silseth, Rada, Paris, Dana Could the Angels get something done? According to the numbers, sure. But philosophically, will the Brewers like this kind of a trade? I don't know. But number-wise, yeah, you could see maybe Corbin Burnes on the Angels. Look out for that. I don't see why not. And funny enough, Corbin Burnes did come up today in the news. Ken Rosenthal had an article earlier today saying that the Dodgers, he was speculating that the Dodgers can entertain a multitude of trade options, and you could also maybe include Willy Adames into the trade as well. He did speculate that maybe someone like Gavin Lux, if they were to get Willy Adames back in the deal, maybe you could do Gavin Lux in there. So the Dodgers, I did predict to land Corbin Burnes. So let's take a look here if you did include Adames as part of that deal. So looking at the Dodgers, Gavin Lux has a really solid value. So that's definitely someone you could include, right? So go to the Brewers. Let's throw in Burnes. Adames is around an $11 million value. That's a pretty solid package overall, about $45 million. I think you could definitely put these two together. I have talked in the past about teams usually wanting to separate guys, but I could see this scenario, right? Especially if a team like the Dodgers, they need a shortstop or they could use an improvement there. You could send back Gavin Lux, and that's going to be a huge chunk of value that you just fill right in. And I could see the Brewers being okay with a return or him being in a return like that. And then the Dodgers, they got so many other pieces you could throw in here. They got some young pitching that they could throw back in. You know, could you do someone like Gavin Stone? You know, and just like that, you're already matching in terms of the value. So could you do Lux, Stone? I don't know. I mean, you got some other guys like Nick Frasso. Maybe instead of Stone, you can do like Frasso and River Ryan. You know, and you're still right around that same value there. So, yeah, I think the Dodgers have a huge edge when it comes to Corbin Burnes because, you know, and they could also use someone like Adames who will give them some pop. Lux, it just seems like he hasn't fully gotten it going with the Dodgers. Remember Gavin Lux was like the top prospect in baseball at one point. So maybe a new home like Milwaukee, maybe it takes a little pressure off of him and he can really just focus on his game, focus on just being healthy next year, and he could end up being a really good player for the Brewers. So let's see. Let's see. What else we got here today? Speaking of some pitching out there, let's talk about Yamamoto. I am shocked we have not already talked about Yamamoto. But we got a little something on Mr. Yoshinobu Yamamoto. And it looks like, once again, you know, these guys out there, I'm not understanding, and excuse my giraffe neck Robbie, but how are the Red Sox not involved when it comes to these articles? I really don't understand. And it's saying two other mystery teams. The Red Sox are clearly involved for Yamamoto. Am I just coping right now? Am I coping? The Red Sox are in this. Give me a break. It's been reported like in the past couple of days that the Red Sox absolutely are involved, right? And they have been, by John Morosi, said that Yamamoto is their top priority. I'm just saying, like, I don't know why they're not being listed here. It's weird. But Will Salmon of The Athletic, he listed the Blue Jays, the Dodgers, the Giants, the Mets, and the Yankees, and two other mystery teams. My guess, that would be the Red Sox. I'm just saying. However, we did get some news today that the Mets, Steve Cohen, David Stearns, they actually flew to Japan to go meet with Yamamoto. Martino said, quote, they went to a nice French-Japanese restaurant. I think that's exactly what he said. So I'm like, all right, Martino, thank you for the details there. I don't know. But, hey, good for the Mets, man. That's the kind of moves you got to make. Go out there. Go to him, right? Show him what you got. I think that's a good move from the Mets. And according to reports, the Yankees and Yamamoto are going to be meeting this coming Monday. So let's see. I would imagine you're going to get something come up with the Dodgers. The Giants are interesting to me because the Giants have never really broken the bank when it comes to starting pitchers. Right? They tend not to throw the money at those guys, right? Could it be different this time around? Yeah, sure. I just wonder if the Giants will end up getting outbid, because I just wonder what their philosophy is in terms of adding pitchers. So, or how much they want to offer him. The Dodgers, you have to consider them definitely a favorite, right? Especially if they don't get Ohtani. I've said that a couple of times in the last couple of days, but yeah, they would be a huge favorite for Yamamoto if they don't get Ohtani, right? The Blue Jays, the Blue Jays are interesting because they already have some pretty good starting pitching. If they're ready to spend that money, then yeah, why not? Go add Yamamoto. That rotation would be freaking nasty. Are you kidding me? I mean, let's pull up that rotation right now with the Blue Jays. I mean, my goodness. Kevin Gausman, Yamamoto. I mean, goodness gracious. And imagine if Manoah gets back on track. Oh, and you got Barrios in there. Kikuchi was pretty good. Bassett at the back. They had a good rotation last year minus Manoah, right? They got a lot of innings from these guys. Oh, Yamamoto and Gausman at the top? That's nasty. It's nasty. So, yeah, I think you can definitely consider the Blue Jays a favorite. For me personally, I think the Red Sox have to be because they need pitching. That's just my opinion. Maybe I'm coping. Maybe that's my Giraffe Neck Robbie coming out, but I don't know. Moving on here, we did have a signing today with the Baltimore Orioles. Did have a little something here. And the Orioles, they have a new closer, right? Batista, going to be out for 2024 with Tommy John. And Craig Kimbrell is now heading to Baltimore. And honestly, hey, good move for the Orioles, right? This is what they need to do. I think they definitely could make some more moves. I think the lineup personally is fine. I like all the young guys they got there. Eventually, Jackson Holliday is going to make his debut. And it's actually been reported that maybe Jackson Holliday could make the opening day roster for the Orioles. I mean, why not? Let's get these young kids up, man. They're good. But I like it for the Orioles. Craig Kimbrell, he's going to give you a bit of a heart attack, right? But Kimbrell, for the most part, was really solid last year. Just don't think about the postseason. Don't think about that. But, hey, getting a power arm and, with Cano, overall, this bullpen still looks really good. Kimbrell scares me a little bit. I do like Batista better than Kimbrell at this point. But, hey, you know what? You're getting a veteran guy. Still has pretty good velocity. I like it. Could they add something for this rotation? Honestly, I like Bradish, and I think Grayson Rodriguez, the sky is the limit for him. But I really would love the Orioles to add something to this rotation. I know you got Means. He's going to be healthy. Kramer, Irvin at the back. I'm just saying, and this is coming from a Sox fan in the division. I just think the Orioles, if they added something else to this rotation, that would look really good. Also, the Cubs, they've been in the news. Once again, being connected with Tyler Glasnow as well as Shota Imanaga. Imanaga has been a guy that's been connected with the Cubs over the last few weeks. So, to me, if the Cubs, if they're going to be out on Ohtani, I honestly think the Cubs, getting back to Yamamoto, they said there were two mystery teams. To me, I think those mystery teams would be the Red Sox and the Cubs. I think Yamamoto would be amazing for the Cubs. What a pickup that would be. You'd have Yamamoto and Justin Steele. That's great, honestly. So, but Imanaga, that's going to be a guy. He's definitely going to be heavily sought after Yamamoto signs. So, but hey, Glasnow, he's been connected with the Cubs now for quite a while. So, but again, it's one of those things, right? We've talked about this with Ohtani and the Dodgers. Who knows what ends up happening there? But you see a team and a player connected so much and so many times, it tends not to happen. Who knows? Who knows? But Glasnow still once again being connected with the Cubs, but Imanaga's name is popping up. And everyone, today we actually had the Rule 5 draft today. Foolish Baseball, Bailey loves the Rule 5 draft. He actually went live today for the Rule 5 draft. And when you think of the Rule 5 draft, you think of, there's a lot of guys that have been in the Rule 5 draft in, recent history that have had a lot of success. But, go back, I got some names listed here. We got Johan Santana. We got Hamilton. We got Dan Uggla. Those are a few names that really come to mind when it comes to the Rule 5 draft. But recently, guys like Garrett Whitlock, that was a big one for the Red Sox. You know, he was with the Yankees in their minor league system. They put him in their bullpen, and he was amazing, right? You got Ryan Noda. That was a guy. That was a Rule 5 guy. He was an on-base machine for the A's this past year. Santander. That was a guy that was in the Rule 5 draft, right? Mark Canha. That was another one, right? Tommy Kahnle. That was another one. So if you take a look here at some of the first picks, right, a lot of Yankee pictures went in the top 10. Or not top 10, sorry, but like just the Rule 5 draft in general, right? The Yankees, they ended up losing Mitch Spence, right? He went to the A's. They also lost Matt Sawyer, as well as Carson Coleman, and I got some notes on these guys. Mitch Spence, not great numbers with the Yankees minor league system last year, but he has a pretty good slider. It's rated at a 60 on Fangraphs. Matt Sawyer, pretty good velocity. He's got a 55 slider according to Fangraphs, and he had a pretty good year in Double-A last year, 3.42 ERA, so maybe that could end up being something for the Royals. And then there's also Carson Coleman. He went to the Rangers. I think Carson Coleman has a really high ceiling, and I wonder if he ends up being really good for the Rangers, right? But he missed all of last year because of elbow surgery. He might start the year on the IL this coming season, but he's got a huge fastball, 70 fastball, and in 2022, 14 strikeouts per 9, whoa, what is this? Oh, okay. My goodness, you're all scaring me there. Goodness gracious. I saw Ken Bomb. Reds. Hey, look at the Reds. Look at the Reds. Oh, my goodness. The Reds are a finalist for Eduardo Rodriguez. Look at that. I love it. Seriously, Reds, go do something. Go do something. All right, so looks like it's down to the Reds and the Diamondbacks. I really like this for the Reds. If they could land him, that's massive. That is massive. And honestly, when you think about it, I think the Reds could have a good chance here. And I have mentioned in prior streams, remember, because they were really in it for Sonny Gray until the end and ended up going to the Cardinals. And I was saying, hey, look out for the Reds to maybe be on the market for some of these other pitchers out here. And I said, hey, Eduardo Rodriguez, why not? It's going to be interesting here because these are two teams that tend not to spend a lot of big bucks. So if these two teams are the finalists for Rodriguez, I think it's interesting. Geographically, he was closer to Cincinnati. Remember, he vetoed the trade to the Dodgers because he wanted to stay closer to family. So could the Reds have an advantage here if he wants to maybe stay in that area? The Diamondbacks are going to be further out west. I mean, he could always pack up and move his family, right? That was an in-season thing. So let's see. But I think this is really intriguing. Two teams you don't really ever see as like finalists, right? You don't ever see those kind of teams pop up. So I think this could be really good for the Reds. I think that could be really good for the Diamondbacks. Zach Gallen, Eduardo Rodriguez, and Merrill Kelly. I think that's really solid. For the Reds, it gives them a veteran guy. Hunter Green, Nick Lodolo in there. Look at what last year a couple of these guys for the Reds were doing. Pulling their rotation up, right? Andrew Abbott was really good for them. Ashcraft was pretty solid for the most part. I think Rodriguez would be really nice in this rotation. You got a lot of young guys. Oh, and then they brought in Nick Martinez. Don't forget about Nick Martinez. So, but, a lot of young guys with promise. Green, Abbott, Lodolo. So if they ended up landing Eduardo Rodriguez, you could shift Nick Martinez to the bullpen, similar to what he was doing with the Padres, right? If we go to Nick Martinez, he had a really good year last year. I think he mostly was in the bullpen last year. I think he had maybe a few starts, maybe as like an opener. What was it for him last year? So he had 9 starts last year, but were those mainly like opening spots? Let's actually go to the game log. No, he was a starter in the last. So 3 innings on September 17th, 4 innings on the 23rd, and then he went 5 innings on the 29th in his final start. Going back further. So it looks like anytime he started a game, it was just like as an opener, right? 3 innings here, 3 innings there. But you could do the same thing with Martinez here. He can be kind of like your utility knife, right? He can go in the bullpen, and then if you need him to start some games, he can do that too, right? So, I don't know. Overall, I would like it for the Reds, right? XO, I see you. Hitter's ballpark, though. Eduardo Rodriguez gets a lot of soft contact. Doesn't get a lot of exit velocity off of him. So that's one thing to remember about Rodriguez, right? He limits the hard contact. So I think he would be fine. But let's see. Man, you guys were scaring me in the chat. Goodness gracious. I was thinking, man, what the heck is going on? Everyone was going crazy saying Kem Rosenthal. And I thought something happened. I'm like, oh my goodness, did Juan Soto happen? Did something happen? But anyway. But everyone, I think I'm going to start wrapping this up here. I've got a couple more super chats coming in. Just had one coming on in. Jimmy Productions, you said $1.99. What are the mystery teams? Well, it looks like we got our... or are you talking about for Yamamoto? I'm guessing, yeah, for Yamamoto. My guess would be the Red Sox and the Cubs. I'm surprised in that article the Red Sox weren't even listed. All right? So I don't know. Gates of Above, $5 super chat. Thoughts on Trevor Bauer and which teams might try and pick him up? Well, first thing, Trevor Bauer, just because of all the off-the-field stuff, say what you will about Trevor Bauer, lightning rod, right? No matter what, you're gonna have the supporters for Bauer, and then you're gonna have the people, completely against Trevor Bauer, right? Trevor Bauer could deliver them a puppy, right? Give them like a giant cake, and they would still hate Trevor Bauer. So it's kind of you got two sides with him, right? But personally, with Trevor Bauer, I personally think when it comes to the market, I'm just looking at the baseball point of view. The guy can pitch, still can pitch, and he's been at the winter meetings this past week, meeting with teams. I think he's going to sign. That's just my own personal opinion. I just think a team is going to give him a chance, right? But I do think it's going to be later on in the offseason. I think he's going to have to wait until a lot of these guys come off the board. I see him going to like a small market team. I could see, let's see if the Diamondbacks land Eduardo Rodriguez here. I would think that takes them out. But if the Reds land Eduardo Rodriguez and the Diamondbacks are later on in the offseason thinking, we got to add someone. Man, Trevor Bauer, he lives in Arizona. He's sitting right there. Used to be in the organization. We need a guy. I don't know. I'm just saying. But I think a small market team ends up picking up Trevor Bauer. I could honestly, whoever loses out for Eduardo Rodriguez could want, either the Reds or the Diamondbacks go after Bauer. I think the Reds could be a good spot for Bauer, right? Bring him back on a cheaper deal. You remember, he did really well there for the Reds. So I could see the Reds maybe taking a chance on him again. Again, like team like the Royals, maybe the White Sox. They need pitching. So, I don't know. We'll see. Jimmy Productions. No, I'm asking what is mystery team in baseball? So, what is a mystery team? I'm guessing what you mean for when we were looking at the article earlier. They mean like a mystery team as in like which teams are involved, but they're not being named, right? So, they're keeping themselves anonymous, basically, right? So, we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening with the Yamamoto sweepstakes. But everyone, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. Guarantee Juan Soto trade gets done in like the next 5 minutes. Probably going to happen as soon as I end it. I know Ball Cap is live right now, so if everyone wants to head on over to Ball Cap, tell them I sent you over. We tend to kind of work around each other's streams. I know I was kind of running a little late tonight, so. But everyone, I'm going to start wrapping this up. And again, don't forget about our new friends over at BetUS. That is our new sponsor for the show, right? So definitely go check them out. Got a whole ton of different ways to play, right? Obviously football, basketball right now, but you even got stuff for even free agency in baseball right now. So go check out BetUS, new friends on the channel. But everyone, I'm going to wrap this up. Did we get to our light goal for tonight? Did we hit our light goal for tonight? We got to 445. We fell a little bit short. So if you can on the way out, hit the like button for me. Help us get to our goal for the night. Subscribe if you are new. Make sure you hit the bell notification just in case I do go live, because if a Juan Soto trade gets done, I'll go live with it. Share the show if you can. Everyone, for now at least, I am out of here. I'm going to wrap this show up for the night. But everyone, thank you for stopping by tonight. Greatly appreciate it. Have yourselves a good rest of your night. If I don't see you in the next hour or two, maybe, when it comes to the Juan Soto trade talks, we'll see if anything gets announced. But if we are going to have to wait until tomorrow, we'll see you tomorrow, right? I'll have a show tomorrow night no matter what. Everyone, have yourself a good night, and I'll talk to you next time. Everyone just coming in, the Reds are not a finalist for Eduardo Rodriguez. Just reported. What the heck is going on out there? The Reds are not a finalist for Eduardo Rodriguez. Goodness gracious. Have a good night, everyone, and I'll talk to you next time.